Hi, I'm Arthur from Union Matters, and as you can see, this is my blackboard. This young woman and I have certain things in common. I'm a teacher, and she's a teacher. However, her handwriting is much better than mine. You can see it's legible. I've aspired to that, but I've never been good at it. Am I a good teacher? Well, if you ask me, I'll tell you that I hope so. Because I don't think I'm the best person to come to say whether I'm good or not. You might not believe me. It would be much better, for example, if my students were to tell you I was a good teacher. You might believe them better too. I might be biased in my own favor. Now, there are very smart people. We can agree certain people are very smart. This man here is generally regarded as one of the smartest people who ever lived. Scientists believe he's smart. I don't know why he's smart exactly. I mean, the whole E equals MC squared is way above my head. I'm not a genius. Maybe some people are. Yet, if it were him saying how smart he is, you wouldn't believe him. If he walked up to you and said, I'm a genius, you would think he's a crazy person. Now, some people don't have those restrictions. They might see themselves as very smart people. They might talk about all the smart decisions they made, and they might talk about all the smart people who they hang around with. But people who tell you how smart they are can be really bad leaders. Bad leaders, you probably know bad leaders if you're a teacher like me. I was chapter leader of Francis Lewis High School for 12 years, and I got to deal with some bad leaders on a pretty regular basis. Bad leaders can terrorize those who work for them. If you work in a department with bad leaders, you might live almost in fear for your life. And I can tell you, people working at UFT don't feel much differently than that. That's a disgrace. We need to fix it. Bad leaders, they forget things. They forget who put them in office. They forget that power comes from us. And if they aren't elected, I mean, you see all kinds of things like guillotines. But if they are elected, you will at least see that we can vote them out. Bad leaders forget why we supported them. We can't abide bad leaders. We need better leadership. Bad leaders are overly proud, think they do everything right, and think they can fly. They think they can do anything. Maybe you remember the old story about Daedalus and Icarus flew up to the sun and his wings melted and he came right back down to earth. That's hubris. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. No one should be in charge of anything for 60 years. Because after 60 years of total power, you think you can do no wrong. You think those wings will fly. Unity made a big mistake. They sold out our health care. They tried to take Medicare away from retirees, and they lost us in a landslide. Now they're trying to get us back. But I don't personally believe their assurances. They're not supporting our lawsuits. We have to go to other people for that. And we really shouldn't. We're a union. Our union should protect us. And if you're not a retiree, or if you're a retiree who's not Medicare eligible, well, they're coming for you too. Part of Mowgli's agreement was to cut your health care by 10%. Now, they tell us that the 10% cut will result in equal or even better health care. But it's really hard for me to believe. Most of my life I was on GHI, and I've had doctors drop me, tell me they don't pay me well enough. Well, PSC, the College Teachers Union, they say this will result in tiered care. That is, $100 to go to this hospital, $200 to go to that hospital. Probably these costs will be higher than that. I'm just making them up right now. But they think it will result in tiered care. The last offer the city came up with had a premium, and Mulgrew says there will not be premiums. But as part of MLC, he agreed to premiums. So if there will be premiums, well, he and his good friends in the MLC, the Municipal Labor Committee, they agreed to them. We live in a pretty polarized society. We just had an election. You may have heard about it. And maybe on Thanksgiving, you didn't agree with your Uncle George about exactly who should have won that election. Maybe I didn't agree with him either. I don't know your Uncle George. But we're really a little polarized. And we need to address that. How can we address it? Well, we need to get along. And I think no matter who you voted for, you'll agree on bread and butter issues. As chapter leader, I kind of had to leave my politics at the door. I used to sit in a lounge and argue with people about this and that. I had to cut it way down when I became chapter leader because we had to focus on our commonalities. Now, we did a forum a few nights ago, and some people didn't know what bread and butter issues were. They said, well, they didn't say, they kind of suggested, what is that? Are we making it up? Well, we didn't make up bread and butter issues. This man, Samuel Gompers, is the one who coined the phrase bread and butter. He was the founder of the American Federation of Labor. That's the AFL in what's now the AFL-CIO. And, well, look at that gorgeous necktie and that beautifully tailored suit. And yes, he made up bread and butter issues. You can see when he was around, it was before we were around. But Gompers believed, and was very successful in the belief, that we'd achieve more by working together. To work together, we need to identify our commonalities. And that is what my group believes in. We believe we identify our commonalities and we work on that. Now, everybody likes money. Who I know. My students love money. I don't think I love money, but I like money, and I wouldn't want to be without money. So we agree that working people need more money. We agree that our health care needs to be protected. It needs to be improved, not diminished, as Mulgrew and the MLC are trying to do. We believe we need better working conditions, a stronger, more enforceable contract. And that includes class sizes. Class sizes were a nightmare for me as chapter leader. Twice a year I would go to the American Arbitration Association and protest the class sizes. I'll tell you, the only thing that has successfully enforced class sizes has been the UFT contract. Nothing else has worked. There's been a contract for excellence that's been in effect for decades, and it hasn't fixed anything, even though the city got all kinds of money to lower class size. There is new class size regulation. It's got more holes in it than Swiss cheese. And in an overcrowded school like Francis Lewis High School, where I still work 3 days a week, it's not showing a lot of promise that it will help us. So we need to fight for better working conditions, and we need to leave Thanksgiving battles in our homes. We can't be battling one another. Now, there is a model for this. That's my friend, Marianne Pizzitola, who runs the New York City Organization of Retirees, Public Service Retirees, which is what I am, which is, if you're not retired, you should aspire to being retired. It's great being retired. I I still like the classroom, and that's why I go back 3 days a week. Her group decided to unite for common cause. They decided they would leave aside their political squabbles and unite for common cause. They've been battling in the courts to protect retiree health care. They've been incredibly successful. I send them money pretty regularly. So we align where we can. And then we can have that big food fight Thanksgiving, and that will be fine too. You know, whatever you like. We can't agree on everything. Has anybody ever said that to you? I've heard it before. Some things we can align on, and if we don't align, we work separately. I'll find another group to work on my issues that don't concern you, or that you don't agree with me. I can do that. You can do that. We can all do that. We can work separately, but there are things we need to work together on. Things that we all want. We all want to support ourselves. We don't want to have bills we can't pay at the end of the month. We don't want to need a second job. We need to support one another. We need to help each other. I was chapter leader. I helped a lot of people. It's incredibly gratifying to help your colleagues. We need to fight to protect our health, not to demean our health, not to pay more for our health. We are a big union, and we are one of many big unions, and we should be uniting to make things better. We need to protect the job we love. I love being a teacher. I was so proud to be a teacher, and when I became chapter leader, and at first I was completely lost. I walked into the classroom and I said, oh, here I know what to do. I learned what to do as chapter leader, but being chapter leader made me really appreciate how much I love being a teacher. So we need to unite for the things we all want. We need to come together and work for them and fight for them and do whatever we can to achieve our goals, because we are stronger together. When we're together, we don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be afraid, because you're with us and we have your back. You know her? That's Judge Judy. She's always wagging her fingers. Now, by uniting for common cause, for bread and butter, for bettering our health insurance, this is how we retirees defeated the Unity Caucus last year. Now I'm waving my finger. You might not be able to see it. Some people forget. It's bad to forget. Now, I ran with Retiree Advocate against Unity, and maybe you did too. 300 of us ran with Retiree Advocate, and let's see, 300. That's right. That's what we looked like when we were running. I don't know if you saw us in the news, but that's exactly what we look like. That's me, in fact. Okay, it's not really me. I don't look quite like that. 300 of us ran with RA, Retiree Advocate, but almost none of us got to vote on who they would run with. They, the 11 or 12 people who had a vote. Once we won, our leaders, they forgot us. You know, I'm an elected officer. I'm vice chair of the retiree chapter, and I worked really hard to try to get Retiree Advocate elected, and they didn't see fit to give me a vote. Now, that's pretty bad, but they didn't see fit to give a vote to most of the people, the overwhelming majority of people who worked with them and for them did not get a vote, and that is outrageous. We absolutely expected better. I thought I was part of Retiree Advocate, but what did I know? I'm just some guy who writes a blog. So we do have choices how to approach the next election, which is this coming May. There are two ways to face unity. There's the old way. You know what that is? That's a VCR. It's an old thing. It's old technology. We don't use it that much anymore. But I remember when it came out, I was at John Adams High School, and a 15-year-old girl had to show me how it worked. She did a good job. I used it for a while. That's the old way we watch video. The old way we run against unity is we reluctantly unite our caucuses for the election. I hate you, you hate me, but we both hate unity. So let's, put aside our differences for a while and let's run. Then, of course, we lose the election. I've been part of these caucuses. I've been part of several caucuses, and I've lost many elections with the caucuses. After the election, we bitterly break up. We say it's your fault. They say it's our fault. We say, I hate those guys. How did I unite with those folks? I don't understand it. Then we wait 3 years and we unite for the next election. Of course, we lose that one too. That's how it goes. You might see this on the back of your shampoo bottle. Rinse and repeat. We go back and do the same old thing, the same old way. Then there's our way. We have a different approach. We're a slate. We're not a caucus. We don't have a preconceived agenda. We have a platform. We took a survey, and based on the survey, we wrote our platform. Platform is based on what members need, what members want. We will organize on the aforementioned bread and butter issues. And on Thanksgiving, we'll fight with our family. We won't fight with one another. Now, some people forget, but we're not going to forget. We're going to continue to poll the membership. We'll continue to find out what people want. We will not ever align with anyone who does not share our bread and butter agenda. We'll model ourselves on groups who follow a bread and butter agenda. We're going to stand for you. We're going to stand with you. And we're not going to forget you. Even when faced with a blank blackboard, we won't forget you. Now, who's on this blackboard? You've seen him before, haven't you? This man sold us out. This man made incredible deals with the Municipal Labor Committee. In 2014, he made a deal for us to get the back pay we'd been owed for 4 years. 4 years after that. So we had to wait 8 years for our back pay. And those who had resigned or were fired, he said, forget about you. They got nothing, even though they earned it and they did the work. And in 2014, we established a crap pattern on the rest of the city, including 18 months of nothing, no raise. I think we took a $1,000 bonus at that point. And that's how this man managed to negotiate with a mayor who, the New York Post, I think, portrayed him as a Bolshevik. I mean, a mayor who should have been on our side gave us one of the worst contracts we'd ever seen. This mayor was supposed to be pro-labor, yet we managed to negotiate a terrible contract with him, give away $1 billion of our $1.8 billion stabilization fund, which is now broke, and go figure why that happened. Now it's going to cost retirees $15 to see a doctor. Now, if you're paying $30 and more and $100 for the urgent care, I understand why you wouldn't empathize with us. I do understand that, but we pay fees you don't, and I'll tell you about them in a few minutes. I know co-pays have exploded for you. 15 and up to see a doctor. If you want to test, it's another 15. And of course, if you need urgent care, that's $100. Last time I went to an urgent care, I went to Pro Health. I've got Medicare now. I didn't have to pay anything that time, and the bill was just a little over $100. So if you go to Pro Health with GHI, you'll pay the bulk of the cost. So thank you, Michael Mulgrew. We really appreciate that. Mulgrew told the Delegate Assembly that he wanted to charge $400 for urgent care. $400. He didn't really want to charge $400, but what he wants to do is modify our behavior. He thinks, we're Pavlov dogs, or as you see here, maybe we're Pavlov cats. But ABC doesn't see us like that. Should someone have to choose between care and rent? Should the cost be so excessive and going up all the time? We don't think so. Now, UFT and MLC absolutely oppose premiums. Mulgrew said when the city came with a premium plan that he rejected it. It's absolutely unacceptable, even though he actually agreed to it in an agreement with MLC. But when you retire, you have a premium for your pharmaceuticals. It's pretty expensive, and for some reason, that's okay. They forget that when they tell you they absolutely oppose premiums. Can they go up? Yeah, they can go up. It was $120 in 2024. In 2025, it is $150 a month each. I think I get back $840 a year of that. But my wife, who didn't work for the city, she gets nothing. So they're taking $300 from me every month, and I get some of that back, but not all of it. So think about that. When you retire, you have some expenses that you don't expect. You'll also pay 25% for the cost of your pharmaceuticals, and that can run into some real money. It's capped at $2,000 a year as of this year. So we need choices. Everyone needs a choice, and everyone needs a voice, and everyone needs a vote. Everyone needs to vote in union elections. We have one coming up, and in the last few union elections, maybe 25% of UFT members even bothered to vote. That's outrageous. Unity likes it that way, and that's why they oppose electronic voting. So, I'm going to give you a choice now. What do you need more? A better contract with the City of New York, or a better social contract with our union leadership? Or do you need both of these things? Well, ABC thinks you need both. We think we need leadership that will not forget us, that will not let us down, that will not make insane deals, and that will not take positions that half of us deem to be extremist. We have an agenda, and our agenda is shaped by polling members. We have a platform now that we based on what members told us. Members want raises that meet or beat inflation. I can't think of anybody of any political persuasion who disagrees with that. We want to keep our health care or even improve our health care. We want transparency. We want leaders who will remember us, not just this week, but next week. We want all those things, and we're ready to step up. We will never forget you. We will bring changes. We will align with NYC retirees on our health care. We will file amicus briefs in favor of NYC retiree lawsuits. Right now, UFT Unity is part of the MLC, and they have amicus briefs against us, trying to take our health care away from us, even as they say that they will never force retirees into Medicare Advantage. They need to put their money where their mouth is. They failed to do that. We will look into doing what NYC retirees did for in-service and non-Medicare members. We will use COPE to fight for member rights. We will lobby the City Council to protect us all. We will push bills that protect us all. There is currently a bill, 1096-2024, before the City Council, and our union doesn't support it. This bill would protect retirees. We will use the MLC to improve working conditions rather than make them worse. We want better health care, not worse health care. We will do some things in the UFT that Unity has not done. We will allow elected functional chapter leaders to be in charge of their own messaging and email. Right now, Bennett Fisher is the chapter leader of the Retired Teachers Chapter, and he has to run all the email past the Unity bosses in case he says something they don't like. That's ridiculous. In fact, they built a literal wall to keep Bennett and retirees away from the rest of the UFT. I couldn't believe it, but there is a literal wall, and they built it. We will hold elections for district representatives. Back in the good old days, chapter leaders elected district representatives, but some of them had the temerity to elect district representatives who were not Unity. Unity didn't like that, and now the bosses just pick the district representatives. We will move to once again allow divisions, elementary, middle school, and high school, to vote for their own vice presidents. Once, when dinosaurs roamed the earth and I was a brand new teacher, we elected an opposition member as high school vice president. Unity didn't like that. And once they had total control again, they consolidated all the voices, because the elementary and middle school teachers back then tended to vote Unity. They took away our voice. And in 2 of the last 3 elections, the Unity vice presidential candidate lost the votes of the high school teachers, but became high school vice president anyway. That's undemocratic. We will wake the sleeping giant that is the United Federation of Teachers. The tabloids hate us, and they call us the powerful teacher union. Well, we could be a lot more powerful. We will move to make us that powerful teacher union that they are so afraid of. As for endorsements, we will no longer give endorsements to Democratic politicians simply because they have a D in front of their name. Anybody who wants our endorsement will have to support our policies. We are nonpartisan. We will support politicians who support our policies. We won't be beholden to any political machines or backdoor deals. There will be no 3 men in a room. There will be no 3 Mulgrews in a room. I'm horrified that I put an apostrophe after that W. I'm an English teacher. I should know better. But I didn't do it here. There will be no more Mulgrews at all. Now, we would love for you to join us. Keep up with us at abettercontract.org. Run with us. We still have openings for executive board, and we have openings for convention delegates. We have work groups for various organizations like the retired teachers. I'm part of the retired teacher work group. There's a work group for you if you're a teacher, if you're a paraprofessional, if you're a counselor, if you're a librarian. We have groups for all of you. You might want to print a flyer, or you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or X. I thank you for taking time out of your busy day and joining me, and I'll see you soon, right here at Union Matters. Bye-bye.